Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow when I move fast. And that's facts.
How's it going? Welcome to Monsters of the Madhouse, Chicago sports podcast. Glad to have you guys along with us tonight as we are getting ready here for another week and another week of putting our heads down because we have no idea what's going to happen. No, I think we have an idea what's going to happen. It's happened the last 8 weeks in a row, but that's what we are here to talk about. More specifically, we're here to talk about Caleb Williams. Is it time to sit him or not? So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Brad, Smooth Criminal LaRoe, what's going on, man? It's good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
And Papa Bear Blaker, how's it going, man?
Beautiful, beautiful. If the Bear, everything's beautiful except for Bears football.
It was beautiful. No, there was nothing beautiful about that game not even last week. There was Monday night. Dude, I can't even get my days. It's funny, as I was getting ready for the show today, guys, I couldn't even get everything in line about the Bears and how many games in a row we've lost at this point and how many games we've got left. I'm like, man, this has been so long. I feel like this has just dragged for so long.
That's the effects of the PTSD of being a Bears fan, bro. Like, you could probably get disability.
Hey, maybe that's something we should try and do. Something you could try and collect, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for joining us tonight. You can like and subscribe our YouTube channel, YouTube page. Check out all of our shows, all of our Bears shows, right in the middle of football season right now. And a big topic is Caleb Williams. Heck, a big topic has been Caleb Williams for the whole year as a rookie quarterback. We've seen the ups, we've seen the downs, and especially over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of downs, unfortunately. And that begs the question is if the Bears should sit him. And I've kind of seen that posted a little bit with some of the analysts around the country. I've seen it obviously on X. When you go on X, you can just click #Bears and you'll see different Bears fans start popping in there and giving their opinions on why they should sit him or not. But is it the right thing to do? Is it the right time to sit him? Is it the wrong time to sit him? And I had to think about this, guys, because I had to search and think about and search a little bit more and dig a little bit deeper. I'm like, okay, rookie quarterbacks over the last, I don't know. I kind of think I went back like 30, 35 years of rookie quarterbacks to start and then sit. And the first one that I thought of was John Elway. If you remember John Elway, his rookie season came in, sat for a little, I believe he sat for a couple of games and then came right back in and performed. Terry Bradshaw, he had a really bad rookie season for the Steelers, and he sat and then came back and ended up being one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And you get situations like that if it helps the quarterback, if it doesn't, but I guess it depends where the team is at this point. So before we even talk about if he should sit him, if the Bears should sit him or not, I'll start with you, Papa Bear Blaker. When you start looking at the overall assessment of Caleb Williams, you could break it down however you'd like, whether it's the beginning of the season, where he's been the last couple of weeks. What would you say his play has been as a rookie quarterback so far?
Well, one thing I like about Caleb Williams is, when he's out there, he pours his heart into everything. He doesn't run unless he has to run. He's always trying to make his reads. I feel like he's always trying to improve. He's trying to become the leader on that offense. I love Caleb Williams. I know there's things he has to improve on, but for the most part, I think he's out there giving it his all, trying to be his best quarterback he could be for this franchise and be a leader on that team. He's everything you want out of a rookie quarterback as far as leadership, heart, and effort, as far as I'm concerned.
Totally agree with you. I love his effort. I love his heart. I love what he does on the football field. Brad, when you look at his overall play this year, how about you? How would you assess it?
I think I want to get it clear. I love Caleb Williams as our quarterback. He's the only guy I could see being our quarterback going forward. After this year, of course, I'm not calling for a change or that we made the wrong pick. But it's been streaky, and that's to be expected with a rookie quarterback that came in pretty raw. We all knew he had some issues, footwork, kind of want to play hero ball. And he's gotten better at not trying to play hero ball every single down I feel like we've seen a decent amount of that in the first game. And then he went super reserved, and he just stood in the pocket and got absolutely smothered every third play. But I feel like he's growing in that aspect of knowing when it's time to escape the pocket and when it's time to just sit in the pocket and let the nature of the game take its course and that aspect of it. So all in all, I don't expect much more from a rookie coming into a organization that's never gotten it right before. And I don't think he really has done anything necessarily wrong to this point.
Yeah, I don't either. Thank you guys for the chat room, by the way. I see John King Bravo Stockton in there as well, saying that this is year of always developing Caleb. What's the gain of benching him? Which we're going to get to that here in a second. You bring up some good points, guys, and I think overall, I think this is the way he's played this season so far is kind of what I expect when we started the season. I did not expect him to just come in here and start gunslinging and be this guy that was going to be the superstar right off the bat. I thought he was going to come in as a rookie quarterback and be a rookie quarterback. Coming in now, I thought the situation was going to be a lot better. I didn't think our head coach would have been fired by now, and we're on different offensive coordinators, and I think all that can hurt at the same time. But I kind of expected this, the ups and the downs, the inconsistency a little bit that we have seen, but some of the bright spots where you see, oh, whoa, man, this guy can make some plays, get out of that pocket, throw that ball,
Yeah.
get the wide open receiver, find the wide open receiver. And that's the progress of any rookie quarterback, pretty much any rookie quarterback that you see play. But it's also depending on the situation. And that brings us to the Bears situation right now. When we look at our offense, I just said we had our head coach. We talked a lot about it on these shows. You guys can go back and watch them about our head coach being let go after the Detroit game, after making some bad decisions. Then before that, our offensive coordinator being fired because he wasn't putting Caleb in the offense in the right position. So Thomas Brown comes in. That's a lot. That's a lot to put on for a rookie quarterback. Now, the Bears' offensive stats this year, I was kind of going over them a little bit today. I couldn't believe that right now they're 32nd in offense for total yards per game, averaging 288.2 yards. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but they're the worst in the league right now. I mean, think about some of the bad teams in the league. The New York Giants, which is pretty much a dumpster fire. I mean, the New York Giants right now, before every game, there's a guy that's flying an airplane saying to fire off everybody and get rid of the dumpster fire. That's just kind of good. I mean, did you guys see that? Like that they have that going on right now.
Yeah, Neighbors is like, I didn't pay for that.
Yeah. They were asking him if he was the one that was paying for that. Man, I'd like that he had to do that, to come out and say that. But for that to be 32nd in the league right now, I'm sorry, guys, but even with the different changes in our coordinators, our offensive coordinator, even with a new offensive coordinator right now, I think there's way more talent on this team to be last in the league with yards per game.
Yeah. Don't you think some of that could equate to how good our defense has been in our special teams, return teams, in getting us into short yardage situations, starting with the ball? Because I know I've seen a lot of Bears starting with the ball at the 40, the 45 because of good defense and good special teams, punt returning or kick returning. I feel like I've seen a lot of that. So that also factors into your offensive yards per game being lower. So, I mean, it's kind of a stat you got to take with a grain of salt.
This is the most disappointing Bears team. It has to be in the history of the franchise because of what you just said, the roster. I understand they're thin in the trenches, that has not been developed or drafted right, or they haven't found the right free agents. But to have that wide receiver core, to have Cole Kmet, to have Swift, to have Roshan Johnson, to have the guys on defense, like you said, I mean, come on. To have this kind of effort. I can see if they were a bad luck team and they got some bad calls or a bad replay or a bad break, a rash of injuries like Detroit has, but they're not getting that. They're just coming out and it's like, well, we want to play on this down. We don't want to play on this down. Some of the guys, not all the guys. Then last week we brought up Tyreek Stevenson. I don't know what he's doing. Somebody tell him it's the NFL, not Def Comedy Jam, and to act like a man. That would be nice. It's just, where's the leadership? On top of all the talent, there's no chemistry and there's no leadership. So this has to be the most disappointing team probably since like the 64 Bears. after they 63, when you read about the history, after 63, they won the championship and the 64 Bears were awful. You probably have to go back that far to see a team with that much talent on the roster be this bad.
I like the Def Comedy Jam reference, man. I haven't heard of that in a long time, man. We're going back when you're talking about Def Comedy Jam.
That's what happens. You can't sleep in the middle of the night. You get on YouTube. You come across Def Comedy Jam.
You watch old episodes. I do the same
Yeah.
thing, man. I'd watch old episodes of a lot of stuff. So yeah, well, the Bears offense just in general this year, passing yards 31st in the league, rushing. I think the rushing's been okay at best, rushing 21st, but overall, you could put a lot of this together. And we're talking about if it's time to sit Caleb Williams or not. And I think a lot of this is stemming from the game on Monday. I was almost going to say Sunday, but Monday night they played the Vikings, and we saw Caleb Williams take a couple of pretty big hits. As a matter of fact, there was one hit, even the Vikings beat reporter, when I was following along on X, the one where he got crushed. And I was just like, oh man, I hope he's all right after that. And I think that was the same time he got hit. And then they showed that look of him on the sideline where he was like kind of grimacing in pain a little bit, or looked like he was grimacing in pain. Even the Vikings, I saw one of the Vikings beat reporters say, man, I haven't seen a hit like that in a long time. And a lot of that has to do with our offensive line. And the offensive line, listen, the offensive line has not been good this year. They've had a lot of different pieces going in and out, a lot of injuries. There hasn't been a lot of consistency. And then we have a rookie right tackle playing that probably should have been playing on Monday. You know, he's a rookie. He's a third-round pick. Maybe he'll be good in the future. But as of right now, it didn't look like he was ready to play. So if that being said, we have this offensive line going into Sunday. We're going to be taking on the Lions. The Lions are hurt. The Lions got injuries all over the place. Is it time to start thinking now with 3 games left on an 8-game losing streak, with the confidence and everything going on with the Bears offense right now? I just gave you some of the stats, and I just gave you some of everything that was going on with the offensive line. And their last place in the AFC, in the NFC North. I'll start with you, Papa Bear Blaker. Is this now the time that you sit Caleb Williams for the last 3 games?
Absolutely not. One, I don't think Caleb wants to be sat. He comes off to me as a guy that's going to kick and scream. If he is healthy and he can play, he wants to play. 2, maybe, the coaching staff, maybe make the game easier for Caleb Williams. Remember Luke Getsy, his first year in Chicago? They were running the ball and being compared to the 84 Bears as being one of the best running averages per game for the Bears franchise. And that was the last good thing Luke Getsy did while he was in town. But maybe, put 2 tight end sets, run some power offense if you can. Maybe run a wildcat package and keep Caleb on the sidelines. Maybe run some short passes, some draws, some screens. Get creative and help him out where he's got to get the ball out. Roll out and shorten the field for him. Make it a little bit easier for him. And you cannot bench him, because I have a nightmare by benching him that, the Bears just don't start slow. They sleep in on Sundays. The Bears offense sleeps in on Sundays. Sometimes they don't look good, like getting a few consecutive first downs. I don't even want to say look good, look professional until the third quarter. And then let's just say you get Tyson Bacon in there and they go down, they kick a field goal and maybe another field goal and they get a touchdown for the half. It's going to be a meatball prom with all these meatballs. Put Bacon. Why did we draft Williams? And the media is going to make it a quarterback controversy. I mean, who needs that this late in the year? We don't need one more migraine out of this franchise and these fans and these crazy media people. You know what I mean? So let's just do that. And Caleb needs more reps. Troy Aikman pointed that out on Monday Night Football. I think it shocked some of the casual Bears fans with reactions I saw on X. I don't think Troy Aikman was being critical or being harsh about Caleb, but some of the stuff about wide open receivers and reading the field that, Caleb needs to work on.
You bring up good points there. Now I was going to bring that up too about which I thought Troy Aikman. I love Troy Aikman. I sometimes forget how good he is. He's one of the best in the league, and he was going after him pretty hard. He wasn't sugarcoating anything. And if there's any guy that can relate to being in a rookie quarterback position of a lot of different things going on around the team that are not very good and stuff not going your way, it would be that man, because of his first season where they have 1 win. The Cowboys had his 1 win that year. So he would know more than anybody. So you bring up some good points, but I would also say this too. When you have an offensive line, and then Brad, when you look at this team in general, the offensive line and the way they've played, Caleb Williams right now, I believe, is only 16 sacks away. I think he's 15 or 16 sacks away from setting the all-time record for rookie quarterbacks being sacked in the NFL. I believe,
Yeah.
and if you put it all together, that they I think the Bears average they think they did a pretty good job against the Vikings, but and normally they average I think about 5.5 sacks they allow a game. But when you look at this offensive line and you kind of look at some of the pain and looked like he was hurting at the end of the game, don't you think right now, Brad, this would be the time that it's time for him to sit down and just let him watch for the last couple of games and kind of take everything else in as we end the season?
Yeah, more than 100%. I think that. I don't care if he's going to kick and scream and want to play. I don't care if the fan base or the media thinks it's the best option for him to play, for him to grow. I don't know how you're growing when you're getting hit every time you're throwing the ball, because you shouldn't be expecting that. That shouldn't be the type of practice you're getting in. It's just laughable that we're so close to breaking this rookie sack record, and this is the deepest offensive line that Ryan Poles has ever seen in his life. And God, it's just the most ignorant thing that's probably come out of the Bears camp this year is how good this line was going to be and how deep we are. Yeah, it's definitely time to sit him, protect the player from himself. He's not going to learn anything getting hit every single time he's dropping back or scrambling out of the pocket, running to the sideline every single play. Just absolutely running for his life. And you know who has 0 sacks on the season? Tyson Bagent. He hasn't taken 1 sack. Let's let him get beat up a little bit. Let's let him increase some trade value. Let's get rid of him. Trade him for something of value, because obviously we're not looking at him to be our starter. A veteran quarterback comes, very cheap. So why not in the offseason try and offload Tyson Bagent, try to get some kind of draft capital off of him or just an asset. I mean, if we can get some kind of asset for him, D-line, or you probably aren't going to get a worthy offensive lineman for a liable backup quarterback. But if we can get something for him, just let him improve his trade value from what it's sitting at right now, protect Caleb from himself. I don't want to see Caleb injured going into the offseason, because then what is that doing him? He's not going to get any work in the offseason because he's rehabbing an injury of some sort. And that's not hoping injury on him at all, or because I definitely hope that never happens to anybody, but especially not our franchise quarterback. Like I said, we're just protecting the player from himself at this point. It's what needs to be done. Well, more from his line, not himself, but yeah, it's time to sit him.
Right.
Let Tyson play.
Yeah, so I kind of see a lot of people going that direction too, and I'm looking in our chat room right now. First off, thank you guys for watching the show tonight. In the chat room, I want to say what's up. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, YouTube page, and get all the notifications popping up on your phone. Like, I see Dustin in there. What up, Dustin? Good to see you, man. General Manager John actually dives right into my next point. It's not all on the offensive line. It's very easy for us to sit, and we can, and the offensive line has played very poorly this year, but it's easy for a lot of us to come on any show or tweet out or whatever you want to do saying, God, it's the offensive line's problem that Caleb is taking all these hits. No, it's not all the offensive line's problem, because when you watch that game against the Vikings on Monday, I saw a lot more problems than just the offensive line. I saw problems of Caleb not being able to hit the receiver in a timely manner. I saw Caleb holding onto the ball a little bit too long. Now, these are all things that have a rookie quarterback that can happen to a rookie quarterback, but I'm starting to see that as well. I'm starting to see more bad habits. I feel like I'm seeing more of these bad habits happen with him these last couple of games. For all the good that we see with him, there's more of this happening now. And I think some of these bad habits are happening because I'm not going to say confidence. I feel like these kids got all the confidence in the world. But when you're on a team that has lost 8 games in a row with coaching changes all over the place, I can't imagine what your head is going through at that time. I can't imagine, like, not just Caleb Williams. I mean, our show is based around Caleb today, but a lot of those players on that team, especially young players, I can't imagine what is going through your head and everything you're trying to process your first year in the league, or even your second year players at the same time. And you start developing bad habits that I think a good coaching staff or a veteran type of coaching staff would come in and be able to take all of that out. So to your defense, Brad, was sitting Caleb down, I could lean towards that way too, for those reasons just alone of certain other things happening. But I could also see at the same time, Papa Bear, of you need to get him out there to just keep going with the motions. But if you keep doing that, will that come back and hurt you, or if it hurts him? So I'll start with you, Brad. the points that you bring up. Is there something else that you see why, and not just at the offensive line, but is there any other reasons why you can think of that why he should sit?
I mean, it is partially Caleb that's getting these sacks on himself, but it's not to talk about the X, but it's the same thing that happened with Justin Fields. Once he started getting hit and he knew he was going to be getting hit, every other play that he tried to drop back and pass, his eyes came down off the playmakers. He's watching those defensive linemen. He's not seeing his wide open receivers, which is what Caleb's doing right now. And we need to not make it a habit. It needs to not be a habit at all. And I've only seen it be bad this one last game, and that's enough. We have nothing to lose with sitting him. Just don't let him get used to it. He missed. I think they even replayed it on the broadcast. It was the play that he scrambled out to the left, spun around, accidentally pressed the square button on his controller, jumped and spun again, and then slung up I don't even know what that was. A go get it ball to Keenan Allen. He missed DJ Moore right at the beginning when he started to scramble. Kind of, the pocket was okay at the moment, and a very poised quarterback would have absolutely made that throw. And he just wasn't seeing the receivers because he was focused on the line and he was ready to run. Pretty much from the jump of that play. So I really hate to see that bad habit develop in Caleb because I don't think it's a habit of his right now.
Papa Bear, we were talking to you earlier about you're very confident that he needs to play, that he needs to get out there and get more reps. And with the last 3 games, let's start with this weekend against the Lions. What do you want to see more of Caleb? Since you want him to stay in and have him play a little bit more, what is something that you want to see a little bit more of with Caleb?
Well, you want to see him hit that wide open guy when he's there. You want to, the thing, I brought up all those points to start the show about everything I like about Caleb. And, you don't want to see him fall into bad habits, obviously, but live reps are better than no reps. It's just find that open receiver, make your reads better. I think he's doing so much good in all the other areas, and there's a film room at Hallis Hall. Hopefully somebody's taking him in there and showing him some of the stuff we talked about. But most of Caleb Williams' game, I just love it. I just love the way he handles himself, like I said, at the end of the game. And I don't think he's far from turning that corner and I think he's been very, very good at times, and I think he's been above average at times. And I think he's going to turn the corner faster than people think of being a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. I don't think he's that far away.
I don't either. I don't think he's that far. I don't either, and I think that's why I said with some more reps and the right coaching staff coming in next year, I think that could take him to the next level. You know what I was thinking about 2 guys about rookie quarterbacks being benched, and the first one I thought of was Bryce Young. Of course, the Panthers taking him last year when we got that trade and all the players and pieces that we got in that trade for the Carolina Panthers. And Bryce Young looked so lost last year. He looked awful. Now his team wasn't good. Didn't have good talent. Didn't have that top tier talent around him. Coaching was all over the place. They also changed coaches in the middle of the season. Happened again this year. He struggled out of the gate. He got benched, sat down a little bit, and then he came back. And I think he's looked better. Now I know he struggled last week. But for the most part, I think he's looked better. I think sometimes when you sit, and I don't know the answer to this because I am not a quarterback guru by any means, but I look at his for an example. He sits for a few games. He has a coach that is very good with quarterbacks on a team that's not very good. The Panthers, they're competitive, but they're not very good. They need a lot more pieces in place in order for them to win. And I wonder. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done. Bryce Young probably wasn't ready to start. He was probably forced into start because he was the number 1 pick overall. I think Caleb Williams showed the preseason he was ready to start. That's the difference between the two. And after Bryce did get to sit and soak in the game some more and get some live reps, he was better. Nobody wants to see Caleb Williams get hurt, but to run these hypotheticals, what if he gets hurt? What if he slips out of the shower? What if he gets hurt in practice? Stuff happens to these guys all the time. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? What if he gets hurt in the weight room? Braxton Jones went around all week not knowing he had a concussion. I don't even know how that's possible. But until he gets hurt, we can't do these hypotheticals. Live reps are better than no reps. You know what I mean? I'm going to treat Caleb Williams like a grown-ass man that he is and give him the respect he deserves and put him on the football field. What are we doing here? Let's get back to the NFL being tough again and bring physicality back. I mean, honest to God.
And then not sit him for the next couple of games and just like kind
of enough.
You know, to say slipping out of the shower. Oh my gosh.
Hey, you never know. Hey, dude, you never know, man.
Anything can happen. Yeah.
Anything could happen. And we were talking about it before we started today. A little bit of snow coming in this weekend. Maybe you're outside trying to scrape off the windshield of your car, and you can hurt yourself. You hurt yourself anytime you go out somewhere. So, I agree with you, and I think, and then just kind of looking at the chat too, I think a lot of people agree that Caleb's gonna just play him the last 3 games. And I think if there's one game where you do want to play him, and I think if there's one game where I think they can be competitive, it's actually this Sunday, taking on the Detroit Lions, the leaders of the NFC North, and they only have 2 losses of the year. However, the Lions right now, they have 16 players on defense on the IR. That doesn't even count some of the players that they have hurt on offense. They just lost David Montgomery, which I think is a huge loss. We all know David Montgomery very well, and he was having a great year for them. With him and Gibbs going back and forth, I love that combination with both of them. So as we look ahead to the game this weekend, guys, I just gave you kind of what the Lions are going through right now. And it's a division game. Division games you would think are a little bit more competitive. And I think the Bears always do play the Lions pretty tough for the most part. They play them pretty tough. So Caleb Williams, and I'll start with you, Papa Bear. You want him to play this. We see your fireness, man. We want him to play this weekend. He should not sit. He should go out there and play. What are you going to look for Caleb on Sunday? And is there something you're going to look for, or something that he needs to improve on, especially against the Lions team that is depleted like they are right now? What does he need to take advantage of?
We all know, and I don't think it's a secret, he does need to get the ball out quicker on some of these plays. I mean, that was right to say that it's not all on the offensive line. Get the ball out quicker, make the best decisions he could make, and that's it. If he makes a mistake, learn from him. I'd love to see him not throw an interception, because I'd really like to see, another reason I'd like to see him play the rest of the season is I want to see him break the Aaron Rodgers completion record. He already holds the rookie record. I'd like to see him beat Rodgers' record without an interception, most completions in a row without an interception. I mean, he may get to 300 here by the end of this week between Seattle and Detroit.
I hope so, man. I saw that stat pop up last week too, and I was like, man, that's pretty remarkable. That's actually really impressive. Impressive young man.
Well, I mean, having this, I mean, coming in and not knowing who your coach is. I mean, I'm ready for them to pull a fan out of the stand and let them coach the team and call plays, because he's had this rotating clown car of coaches, and this guy's going out and doing that. The only time he really turns the ball over is when he's been hit blindsided with those fumbles. But as far as making good decisions, not throwing interceptions, hasn't been there.
And Brad, as we look at the game this weekend against the Lions, what is something that you think the Bears can do to possibly? We need to win here. We just need a damn win. We need we need to get back on track here. We need this kid to get a win under his belt, not go 9 in a row, and not have this continue on. But what is something that you need to see from Caleb Williams, or is there something that you think the Lions are going to do to make a mistake for the Bears to win this weekend?
I need to see Caleb Williams standing on the sideline with no shoulder pads and a headset on, listening to the coach talk to Tyson Bagent over the mic. That's what I need to see from Caleb Williams. I don't care that it's a hypothetical. I don't want to see a serious injury. You slip in the shower, you slip on ice, you get injured outside of the facility. It's going to be a different type of injury. I don't want to see the guy injured on the field.
People in New Jersey don't want to see drones, Brad, up in the sky. Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
You're going to have to get putting him out there behind that line, dude. It is. And he's holding the ball too long, and it's just making it worse. It's malpractice.
Weak men make hard times, and we've had enough weak men around Hallis Hall, from Eberflus to Poles. Let's start getting some tough guys in there. Caleb Williams can handle this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
No, you're
but
good.
I think he can handle this.
Yeah, I think mentally he could handle it, and that's the problem. I think he needs to be saved from himself. He's gonna get himself killed. He's gonna get himself killed. blatantly.
So you know what he's going to need if he's going to be sitting on the sidelines. He's going to need one of those Matt Patricia pencils.
Yeah.
Having his
Oh.
to make
Yeah,
sure
give him a
that
little notepad and pencil. Yeah, there we go. Take notes.
Coach on Tyler
We
Tyson
might just
Bagent.
hire him to call his own plays next year.
So with the 3 games left, guys, thank you guys in the chat room, by the way. I see y'all, Dave, Fred, Cheryl, John. Thank you guys all so much for watching the show tonight. So with 3 games left of the season, we got 3 left here against Detroit this week. We got Seattle the day after Christmas, and then the Packers the last one. Papa Bear, will it be Caleb all 3 games, or are they going to eventually sit him at some point? In your estimation, you think he'll be in all?
I think he'll be in all 3 games. Yeah. And, I know Smooth Criminal up there thinks that's the right decision, but it's the Bears, so they'll go the opposite of what you think the right decision is every time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if we both have opposite decisions, it's 50-50 chance, you're right?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
No matter
What about you, Brad?
Don't mess it up.
Yeah, at some point, right? Even if it's like the wrong clipboard they give them.
Yeah, they'll mess something up.
What do you think? Is he going to start all 3 games, the last 3 games, or do you think they're going to sit him at some point?
I think they're still going to play him. I really do. Because like we said, they make the wrong decisions every time. They're going to play him. I could see maybe by the last game being like, well, it's over. Let's just see what Tyson has. I don't know. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't pack it in. Just cancel the season. I don't.
Just cancel it now, right? Just end it, right? Screw it. We don't need it. Screw the money.
I told somebody at work today. She said they're a 4-season ticket holder. I'm like, well, I wouldn't suggest if you're going to sell one of the last 2 home games, don't sell the Seahawks. Go to that one because we might only lose by 20 in that game. So that might be a little better to watch.
So what's interesting, guys, and I know I'm going to be paying attention to these last couple of games. I don't know if you saw the news in Atlanta where they benched. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that by now. Kirk Cousins has been benched because he's been terrible this year for the Falcons. Michael Penix Jr. coming in for the last couple of games of the year, and at that time I'm like, man, what a terrible draft pick. What are the Falcons doing? Well, I think the Falcons might have made the right choice there. Now seeing how bad Kirk Cousins. I want to see how he plays. I want to see him sitting all season long. I want to see what he does. I'm going to be watching those 3 games because that's a team that's also kind of like the Bears. They got a better offensive line than the Bears, but they got weapons on that team with a really good running back with that coaching staff. That's pretty good. So I'm going to be paying attention to that because I want to see how that would translate with that rookie quarterback compared to some of the others in the league right now, considering our situation where we're in right now. And I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on that because I want to see if there's something to that or not.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Plus, they're in the playoff race too, by the way.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you guys all in the chat room tonight. We appreciate you guys. I got John, I see Fred, I see Dave. Thank you guys very much for watching the show and being part of the show. Thanks to all of our great friends of the show, like Bridges Scoreboard, who's been with us for a very long time, Chicago sports headquarters with a great menu in Cold Beer. You can watch them on Sundays. Trax, our guy Brandon Trax, creator of Chicago Sports Podcast, usually there on Sundays for the games. BridgesScoreboard.com. You guys can check them out. You guys can also check out TC's World of Wonders, who's been with us for a long time. TC'sWorldWonders.com for your jerseys that you're looking for. Also, our friends at River Street Tavern, Chicagoland's guaranteed great dine and sports time. Another place where you guys can go watch the games as well and grab a couple of drinks because that's that time of the year, guys. It's the holidays. You want to go out, watch football, and have some drinks. At least that's what I want to do. I want to go out, watch football, have some drinks. And I don't think there's anything better than that, guys, unless you can name it. Unless you think there's something that's way better than that to relax to. I especially when you're watching a Bears game and we're all watching 8 losses in a row, the beer goes down a little bit better, doesn't it?
I switched to whiskey. They got me going on the hard stuff.
I would have thrown this in. I see Dave says he's praying that they play Caleb Williams for his confidence. The kid's so confident, it's not going to shoot his confidence. And the decision needs to come from Ryan Poles. It needs to be relayed from him to Caleb Williams that, hey, I failed you with putting you behind this line. It's not you, it's me. It's the bad breakup. But they're not breaking up. It's just, well, maybe Ryan Poles might be out after this year.
I think Ryan Poles is out. I think Kevin Warren pulled rank on him.
Yeah, but
I-
it needs to come from the top. It needs to come from the GM that Caleb needs to sit because he failed him, and it needs to be relayed to Caleb that it's not because of him that he's getting sat.
Well, I think the more games we lose,
if that's the route they go.
If we keep losing games, if we lose 9 in a row and 10 in a row, I don't know, guys. I think anything's possible at that point when you're about as bad as they are. You know what's funny, guys? Even today when I was at the dinner with my girlfriend and they had ESPN on, I didn't even realize right now the Bears have the 9th pick in the draft for next year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, we're already there already. We're already in a top 10 pick because of how bad we are this year. I wasn't even paying attention to that.
It feels like they should have 4 or 5, as awful as they've been. To imagine there's 8 other teams worse than this. I mean, it's like I want to drive up to New York and give all them Giants fans hugs for Christmas, man, because you're telling me there's worse football teams out there than this Bears team? That's insane.
There's not. We
there's
just
a lot
play
of
harder
bad.
strength of schedule.
There's a lot of bad in the NFL this year too. So
absolutely.
Well, it'll be interesting, guys. So we'll find out. We'll find out this weekend. We'll find out on Sunday. We'll see what Caleb does. We'll see what they do against the Lions, and hopefully we can break this losing streak and finally get a win. So, well, thank you guys for watching Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. You could like and subscribe our YouTube page, YouTube channel. Check out our shows. We have them all week long, and we'll have more shows coming up here leading up until game day on Sunday. And for Brad and Papa Bear and everybody else in the chat, thanks to everybody in the chat room for watching the show tonight. And guys, it's been fun, man. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the game Sunday. Absolutely. It's gonna be fun to watch. Hopefully, we get a win, guys.
All right, bear down.
Have a good one, fellas.
All right, guys.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
You guys take care and have a good one.